Hello my fellow crocheters, welcome to my channel. This is Yana with Yana's Crochet. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting me by watching, commenting, liking, and sharing my videos. It all helps tremendously and it helps my videos be shown to more people. So thank you. So today I would like to show you how to make one of my all-time favorite pattern stitches. That's very easy. It's one of those, almost mindless patterns, but at the same time looks a little more interesting than just your basic, single or double crochet or, any of your basic stitches. It looks great on both sides, a little different. And like I've mentioned, very easy to do. If you're a beginner, this would be perfect. Very quick, not a lot to it. So let's get started. So as always, you're going to start with the slip stitch. And you are going to chain any number of chains. So whatever you're making, whatever length you need, just make a chain as long as that. And this pattern is also great for, any type of clothing, because it's also kind of has a little bit of a similar look to maybe knitting. Okay, so here I chained 2 chains for the turning chains to count as your first stitch, and let's put a half double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook, and you are just going to do a row of half double crochets, so all the way to the end. Make sure you don't miss your last stitch. Sometimes it can be a little tight, hard to get into it, but necessary. Okay, so our first row is done, just the basic row of half double crochets. So now chain 1, turn, and for this row you're going to put a slip stitch into the back loops only, starting with the very same stitch. So you don't skip a stitch, just in the very same one, you put a slip stitch in the back loops only. And you do that all the way to the end of the row. Here's your second row done. Right now it doesn't really look like much. Okay, so for the next row, chain 2, turn, and the chain 2 is not going to count as your first stitch, so we're going to put a half double crochet into the very same stitch. So just normal way, half double crochets into the every stitch. Since the previous row was a row of slip stitches, for me they always tend to get a little tight, so maybe you keep that in mind when you do the row of slip stitches, to just keep them a little looser. And don't forget your very last stitch as always. Sometimes they're hard to see. And there you go. You have the 2 rows that you're going to be repeating. So for the next row, you're going to chain 1, turn, and this is your row of slip stitches in the back loop only. And that's all you do all the way to the end of the row. And that's your pattern. Repeat the 2 rows starting with the half double crochets and then the next row of slip stitches in back loops only. And like I said, pretty mindless. You can make a big blanket, very easy, don't have to think about it too much, but at the same time, you know, a nice looking pattern. Yep, that last stitch, find that, slip stitch into that. And now you're starting to see the pattern come alive a little bit. You see those little braids. And your next row again is the row of half double crochet. So you remember you start with the half double crochet in the very same stitch because your chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And that's how you keep going, just alternating those 2 very easy, simple rows to create a pretty fun little simple pattern that looks great. You know, blankets look great, looks great for sweaters and clothing and anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're going to be able to use this simple pattern for something fun to make. And again, thank you so much for being here and thank you for watching.